I would like to call this meeting of the Brook Township Council to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on December 10, 2021. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspapers, posted on public bulletin boards, and the Township website. At this time, VFW Post 8867 will present its colors, and we will have the salute to the flag. Please stand and remain standing for the invocation, which will be given by Reverend Doug Chase.
Let us pray. Lord of the universe, from the beginning of time you created order out of chaos and established laws for the ordering of our lives and the mutual well-being of your people. Throughout human history, you have raised up from among your people those who have been called to lead your people in the ways of love, justice, and mercy. You have raised up leaders to protect the vulnerable, to protect human freedom, and promote human dignity. On this particular day and in these challenging times, we seek your strength, wisdom, courage, and knowledge to be poured upon those elected and appointed officials who seek to serve the common good of our Brook Township. As our officials enter this new year filled with opportunity, new possibilities, grant them a discerning spirit to take hold of that which will strengthen and uplift this community. We especially ask your blessing of these gifts upon Mayor Ducey, Councilwoman DeYoung, Councilwoman Portiero, and Councilman Albanese as they are sworn into their respective offices. Indeed, grant unto them and the entire Township Council, its civil servants, first responders, and all in governance, the spirit to discern what is best for your people, the will to seek the common ground, and so this township might find its citizens living and growing and prospering with mutual care and respect. These things we ask of you so that our township may be a beacon of light, bringing honor and glory to your sacred name. Amen.
Amen.
Guard, to the rear, march.
Thank you. Please be seated. The official results of the election held on November 2nd, 2021, certified by the county clerk as follows. Mayor John G. Ducey, 17,822. Teresa Gallagher, 10,280. Perry Albanese, 13,861. Mariana Ponterera, 13,415. Heather DeYoung, 13,403. Mary Buckley, 13,137. Derek Ambrosino, 13,129. Ernest Arams, 13,016. At this time, the Honorable Brian Corley White will administer the oath of office to Mayor John Ducey.
swear
I, John Ducey, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of office of mayor
of the office of mayor
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
and that I solemnly swear
And I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
for the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Mayor. I'll sign first.
At this time, Mayor John Ducey will administer the oath of office to Councilwoman Heather DeYoung.
So very honored to be able to swear in Councilwoman Heather DeYoung. It's been enjoyable, running with her for the last 3 elections, and she does a great job for our businesses through our Buy and Brick program, for our recreation department with our seniors. She goes to almost all of our events that we have for our seniors. So I'm very proud to be able to swear Councilwoman DeYoung in for her next term. I, Heather DeYoung,
I, Heather DeYoung,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Councilman
of the office of Councilwoman
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
and that I solemnly swear
and that I solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
At this time, Mayor John Ducey will administer the oath of office to Councilwoman Mariana Ponterero.
So I'm very honored to be able to swear in Councilwoman Mariana Ponterero to her next term. It was a pleasure running with her for the last 3 elections as well. Mariana does so much for our Public Safety Committee. She's the chair of, and has been the chair for our Public Safety Committee, which looks at obviously our police department. That's our main source of public safety here in Town Hall, as opposed to the volunteer fire and things. So she works closely with the police department as far as their needs, their funding, and other things, speed zones and things like that has to go through the council and be approved by the council. So thank you, Mariana, for all your hard work on council.
At this time, David Connolly will administer the oath of office to Councilman Perry Albanese.
I consider it a pleasure and an honor to administer this oath. I, Perry Albanese, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Councilman according to the best of my ability, and that I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. So help me God.
Congratulations. Thank you. I'll take the roll. Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman Zapsik. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Here.
Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Councilwoman Crate.
Here.
Councilman Menachino.
Here.
At this time, I call for nominations for the 2022 Council President.
I would like to nominate Vince Menachino. He has been a great team player for the last few years. His first year was the COVID year, so this last year he kind of went into full council meetings. And I know I appreciate all his input and all the thought that he puts into all of the issues that we have in town, no matter if it's financial, land use, public works. He's just been a really good friend and a really good team player. So I nominate Vince Menachino.
I second the nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close nominations?
Motion.
Second.
I will now take the roll for the 2022 Council President. Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Councilwoman Crate.
Yes.
Councilman Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, Mayor John Ducey will swear in the new Council President, Vincent Menachino.
That's all right.
It's my honor and privilege to swear in soon-to-be Council President Vince Menachino. Vince works very hard with, especially on our Public Works Committee, the Council Public Works Committee, Public Works, as we all know, does such an awesome job in town with, garbage pickup, filling the potholes, doing signs and everything else. So thank you, Vince, for all your hard work with Public Works and all the other committees. But the last time I swore him in was January of 2020, and 2 months later we had all this craziness that still hasn't stopped yet, Vince. So hopefully I'm swearing you in, it'll break the cycle here. I, Vincent Menachino. Do solemnly swear. That I will faithfully. Impartially and justly. Perform all the duties. Of the office of Council President. According to the best of my ability. And I solemnly swear. That I will support. The Constitution of the United States.
Thank you again. That's right. This is my interpretation of a mic drop. So, thank you. So, as Council President, my first order of business is I want to present, please smile, Councilwoman Crate. This is a plaque. She did a great job during the last 2 years during COVID, which was tough. She did 1 year virtually, 1 year half virtually. It wasn't easy. She came here every 2 weeks, made sure business got done virtually. It wasn't, we were all home doing it from wherever we were doing it from, but she was here every 2 weeks making sure business got done. So we want to present her with this. It says, in recognition of your dedicated to hard work, I should really have my glasses on, as serving as president of the Township of Council of Brick 2020 and 2021. Congratulations. So real quick, with that being said, with Lisa, she's done a lot for this town. She's very involved in the veterans in town. She goes above and beyond. She was involved instrumentally in the memorial out front that you see when you come in, the flags. If you go down Princeton Avenue towards Windward Beach, there's flags and plaques for, I believe it's every fallen veteran that's ever been in Bricktown or lived in Bricktown. So she was instrumental in that. She was also instrumental in the night out for kids with Touch a Truck with the DPW, where they bring the trucks, the kids come and touch them, and it's cool for the kids. And as her family will definitely tell you, she bakes a mean cupcake. And they're going to be tough shoes to fill. They really are. She did a great job, and I want to thank her again. So we do. At this time, I want to call for nominations for Vice President for the term for 2022, and it would be my pleasure again to nominate Councilwoman Lisa Crate for Vice President.
I second that.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the nominations for Vice President?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Councilwoman Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
So now, we'd like to have... Yeah, the mayor. Thank you. I'd like to call the mayor to swear in Vice President Lisa Crate. That's okay.
It's an honor for me to be able to swear in soon-to-be Council Vice President, Lisa Crate. The Council President has already stolen most of my thunder, but she doesn't allow the veterans. I want to thank the veterans for doing our colors here today. But one thing I wanted to mention about Councilwoman Crate, soon-to-be Vice President, is she's looking forward to organizing an event called the Longest Table, and it was supposed to originally be sometime it was actually going to be in the fall of 2020, and then we moved it to 2021. But it's going to be a great event when it does come about. It's going to be over at the Havens Farm, and it's going to be people from all over town that'll come, and you're not going to be able to sit with your friends. You sit with strangers, and you talk about the town, your life, the world in general, while you're enjoying a meal. So I can't wait to have the Longest Table at some point in 2022, right? All right. Okay.
I, Lisa Craig, do solemnly swear
mayor would like to make some opening remarks.
First, I would like to thank my family, my wife Deirdre, my son Jack, my mom Eileen, and my sister Debbie for being here today. I also want to thank all my friends out there, everyone for being here in person on this great day, January 1st, 2022, a new beginning, a new year for everybody. And I also would like to thank all the BRIC voters out there for allowing me to be here today as well. So thank you very much. At this time, I'd also like to welcome Councilman Perry Albanese, and I look forward to working with you over the next few years. And it's going to be, great experience, and look forward to, whatever committees you're on and things like that, and working together. Next, we did this usher in the new, but I'd like to kind of kick out the old. So I'd like to call up retired Councilman Paul Mumolo. And I'd like to present Mr. Mumolo with a key to the town. So I want to thank you, Paul, for all that you added to the town over the past 8 years, including considering yourself a deputy mayor, including helping the town out with many land use issues, all sorts of different things from firewood to zoning and also want to thank you for all your family event ideas of food trucks and all the different things that you helped out with there, helping out business owners constantly, giving them assistance through permitting processes and things like that. Thank you for keeping expenses down. It's very important for our tax rate. Thank you for helping with wildlife, and a few people know what that means. And there's also, those are only a handful of things that Paul has done over the last 8 years. So thank you for making BRIC better in your 8 years here. And just so there's no misunderstanding, that is a key to the town, but I changed all the locks immediately before I gave it to you. So last year I stood here and I spoke about 2021, and I was calling at that time for BRIC Township the year of hope. So it was a hope for health, a hope for economic recovery, hope for more time with friends and family, and hope for COVID-free. So we didn't get the COVID-free, obviously, but hopefully some of the other goals were achieved by you and those that you love. The hope here in the township also turned into many achievements here in Town Hall. So we had the opportunity, we obtained over 900 vaccines for our residents in a time when vaccines were impossible to get. People might forget about that because now they're so widely available. The lines and the stress people were going through trying to schedule those things. So thank you to our town employees, Walmart, OHI, and the BRIC Police Athletic League for putting together a great program for our residents way back in March and April to provide those vaccines. Also, with the help of the town council, we passed another budget that had a less than 1% increase in spending. That's really no small feat, as things in life are constantly getting more and more expensive, as we all know, whether it's from the pandemic or just life in general. Just things are going through the roof, including health care, supplies, building materials, many other things that just keep on going up in price. And that's why it's always important to keep spending down, because all the things that are in our own lives are all going up too, right? How much was it for crab legs over the holiday season? Our business administrator, our CFO, and all department heads worked diligently, cutting until we had a budget that everyone could be proud of. And it's been like that for all 8 years of my being as a mayor. The budgets that we put together have only increased 1% a year. And this is compared to the prior 8 years before that, when the budget expanded over $34 million in those 8 years, which was an increase of 6.6% every single year, compounded. Those increases are not fair to residents who don't get that type of cost of living increase or a raise of 6.6% a year. That's why it's very important to keep our spending down to 1% or less a year. Another accomplishment in 2021 was continuing our debt reduction program. Our debt was a record high when I became mayor in 2014, And back then, I promised to lower debt at $1.5 million a year for my 4 years, which turned into 8. So right now, that would be $12 million is what we're hoping for. And again, through the help of the council, the business administrator, CFO, and department heads, the reduction stands at this point at $28.5 million since I first took office, which is $16.5 million more than promised way back then. Thanks. In 2021, we were finally able to close on the Sports Dome property, something the town paid way too much for in 2003. So it took 18 years to finally get it back on the tax rolls. So not only is it on the tax rolls, but it's something for all ages to enjoy for many years to come. So some in town complained that they wanted more money for the property, and that could have been possible, and it could have been accomplished, but it would have resulted in 192 condominiums being built there. So my vision and promise to Brick residents was to make sure that 192 condos did not happen, and also to make sure that what went there would be special and a place for all of Brick to be proud of. From kids having things to do after school and during the summer, to programs for moms and strollers and seniors during the school days, to men's and women's leagues throughout the nights. The Sports Dome is going to be a terrific addition to our town and all of our lives. It's about doing what's right for Brick Township and the residents and not getting every last buck possible. Do what's right for the community, not for the builders. This all leads me to my theme for Brick Township for 2022, which is community. So it's not what's best for one person or one group of people. Brick Township is about what's the best for all of us. What's best for both sides of town, whether it's Memorial, whether it's Township, whether it's the North, whether it's the South, whether it's the East, whether it's the West, for all ages, for all different backgrounds. The community working together with one goal in mind, and that's to make Brick an even better place than it is right now. And that's what we can be an example for the entire state of New Jersey, for the entire country, and probably for the entire world. Each one of us working individually to make Brick a better place than it is right now. So we are a community that includes volunteers, including all of the fire volunteers from Bretton Woods, Herbertsville, Laurelton, and Pioneer Hose, who together, with surrounding towns helping out as well, fought to protect the homes and lives in Brick Lake Park in that horrible fire that was intentionally set. So we thank you volunteers for not only that large-scale fire, but all you do 365 days a year for our safety. In fact, there was another fire last night in the home that there was no lives lost. So again, great job by all of our volunteers. Our community has a lot of different volunteers, just touching on one group. We are a community who has a hospital, which is the best in the state and works hard every single day to help our residents in their worst possible time of sickness or injury, or sickness and injury of a loved one. Congratulations on their designation as a teaching hospital, along with the new name of Ocean University Medical Center. We are a community who finally has a strong, permanent leader in the Brick Township schools with Superintendent Thomas Farrell, and a school board that cares about children. It was great to work with the superintendent and the board in fighting for our kids and get them extra money. We were able to obtain $7.5 million in stabilization grant money that will be used to help out the education system. So thank you, school board, and thank you to the state government for providing that money, which is so important for our kids. We are a community that has great nonprofits to help our citizens in need, including, and I'm probably going to leave people out, and I know I am because we have so many people that help as a nonprofit or as an organization, not for being announced somewhere or for the advertisement, because people need it, and that's what they're there for, to help people. But Habitat for Humanity, Seeds of Service, Homes Now, the Rotary Clubs, our Kiwanis clubs, the student organizations in town, Knights of Columbus, the clergy pantries and services that our various clergy members supply throughout our town, the Women's Club, our veterans organizations, Arc of Ocean County, Caregiver Volunteers, Meals on Wheels, Contact Ocean, Hands for All, Hands for All, and the Jersey Shore Council of Scouts. And there's many, many others. So no matter if it's as small as a lemonade stand that a 7-year-old student set up in order to raise money for some cause, or our PBA for raising funds for families and providing toys for tots. And those organizations, thank you for being part of our community. In 2021, we were luckily able to provide $295,515 in federal grant money to help those nonprofits and others in their missions. We are a community that has great township workers. We all know that our police are voted by residents of Ocean County to be the best of the best. And besides just being voted that, we know they're there for us every single day, keeping us safe and our families safe. So thank you, Chief. We all know our DPW always gets the highest marks in town when we do these town-wide surveys. And we also hear, in a lot of times in the newspapers, media, social media, about our recreation department receiving various awards for their employees or for their programs or for their parks, and our parks department is with that as well. But there's also other great people that make this town run. Without them, our town would fall apart, and nobody really thinks about them because they're maybe not as visible. We have great people, great employees in our clerk's office, our senior services, our tax collector, tax assessor, building, zoning, engineering, land use, EMS, our parks department, which I mentioned already, courts, code enforcement, IT department, purchasing, building and grounds, our sign shop, our marina, beaches, preschool, mechanics, drivers, road crew, the Hill Recycling Center, police administrative staff, the dispatchers, bus drivers, archives, laborers, clerical staff throughout every single department, the front desk when you walk in, my assistant, the finance office, HR department, administration, and most of all, our business administrator, who could not be here today, Joanne Bergen. She's the one who keeps everything together. So thank you. These are the people who make our town run smoothly and make Brick the greatest place to live and raise a family. So thank you to each one of you. I'm going to clap for you. Looking forward to 2022. We will be an even stronger community that we are right now. We're going to add into our latest park, which is going to be the renovation of Cedar Bridge Manor Park, which should start in the summer once we hear back from the state on our permits. It's great doing these projects, and just unfortunate, a lot of times you need state approval, and that sometimes federal approval, and those things take forever, hence the Food Town being 18 years. We will be a stronger community with more open space than we have right now. Thank you to our Open Space Savers Committee making recommendations on what pieces of land to preserve to slow down all the building that's going on in town. So this year, in 2021, we saved 40 homes from being built with the preservation of land near Elizabeth Avenue as well as off of Old Hooper Avenue. In 2021, we're going to add to that and keep on going until we can save as much of the trees as we can. That will make us a stronger community. We'll also be a stronger community with the elevation of some of our low roadways in town, including Matheson, Vennard, and Shore Acres, which will be done in 2022. And also, the plans are being developed to raise roads over in Normandy Beach. Those are our two lowest laying neighborhoods in town. We will also be a stronger community with the addition of the new EMS facilities on Aurora Place, which is going to finally include locker rooms and other great facilities for the actual EMS employees. And it also, what it means for the whole town, is a more centralized facility for response time for our residents. Right now, they're working off of Chambers Bridge Road, which, as we all know, especially during the holiday season, gets a little backed up when you get closer to Route 70, right? This will be over on Aurora Place, quicker to get to the other side of town. We will be a stronger community with the addition of our new senior center on Aurora Place, a place our seniors can call their own with expanded activities and a more centralized location for the ease of transportation, both for our buses and for the seniors who still drive themselves to the facility. It'll be right there over in Aurora Place in the center of town. So these are some of the things that I, as your mayor, the council, and township workers are doing to make Brick a better community. Now the challenge is to each and every one of you here and listening at home, whether you're a business owner, a parent, a child, a student, club, an organization, just a regular, everyday, just resident that doesn't fit maybe one of those things. The challenge is, what can you do to make the community and Brick an even better place than it is now? The year 2022, the year of community. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This brings us to our consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 18-1.
Establish council meeting dates 2022.
This resolution established council meeting dates for 2022. Resolution 18-2.
Establish bank depositories cash management plan 2022.
This resolution adopts a cash management plan to establish bank depositories as part as that plan. The cash management plan is an annual requirement for all municipalities, and it develops by the CFO in accordance with the local fiscal affairs law. Sorry. Resolution 18-3.
Authorized 2022 temporary budget.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the adoption of a temporary budget which must be done within first 30 days of January so that a commitment and payments can be made prior to the adoption of the budget. Resolution 18-4.
Designate public agency compliance officer.
This resolution designates Township Purchasing Agent Jenna Kapaka as Brick Township's Public Agency Compliance Officer for 1 year period. The New Jersey Department of Treasury Affirmative Action Office requires that municipalities designate an official to act as a liaison to serve as Public Agency Compliance Officer. Resolution 18-5.
Designate agent for taxing district, Ocean County Board of Taxation.
This resolution designates the tax assessor or municipal attorney as authority to act as an agent for the taxing district during the year of 2022 and to execute stipulations and settlements on any tax appeal or complaint filed by a taxing district or by a taxpayer in the year 2022. Resolution 18-6.
Authorize petty cash funds.
This resolution authorizes petty cash funds as needed through the Township's Clerk Office, Police Department, Public Works, Engineering, and the Parks Department. Resolution 18-7.
Authorize advice and consent, mayor's appointment of tax collector.
This resolution authorizes the appointment of Kelly Napolitano as the Township's tax collector. Resolution 18-8.
Authorize advice and consent for fair and open professional services contract with Township Attorney.
This resolution authorizes the appointment of Starkey, Kelly, Knievel, Cunningham, and Turnback Toms River as Township Attorneys 2022. Resolution 18-9.
Authorize advice and consent for fair and open professional service contract with conflict prosecutor and authorize receipt of proposals for municipal and alternate prosecutor.
This resolution authorizes the contract with Laney M. Lombardi and Cleary Giancombi Affari Jacoby LLC and conflict prosecutors, and this resolution authorizes receipt of proposals for municipal and alternative prosecutors. Resolution 18-10.
Authorize advice and consent for fair and open professional service contract with municipal public defender, alternate and conflict public defender.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes the contract for municipal public defender to the law office of Matthew R. Sage out of Beechwood, alternate public defender Brian J. DeStefano of Bayville, Charles P. Tizanin of Brick, Lee Klein, Lakewood, and the firm of Montenegro, Thompson, Montenegro, and Gens of Brick, and conflict public defender Brian J. DeStefano of Bayville, Charles P. Tizanin of Brick, Destrabats, Campbell Stout, Hamilton, Lee Klein out of Lakewood, Montenegro, Thompson, Montenegro, and Gens of Brick, and Fitzsimmons, Cantoli, Bogan, West, and Stewerman of Point Pleasant Beach.
Thank you. Resolution 18-11.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for legal counsel for redevelopment issues.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the contract for legal counsel for redevelopment issues to McManaman, Scottman, and Bauman of Roseland.
Thank you. Resolution 1812, please.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for township auditor.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the execution of a contract with Fallon and Company, Hazlitt, as Township Auditor. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1813.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for professional accountant services.
Council Vice President Crate.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the execution of a contract with Bauman and Company, Voorhees, for professional accountant services.
Thank you. Resolution 1814.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for Affordable Housing Council.
This resolution authorizes the execution of contract with Ronan, Coughlin, Minicino, Island, and for Affordable Housing Council. Resolution 1815.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for legal services pool.
Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the approval of the following legal services pool. Abruzzi, McDermott, Mastro, and Murphy of Liberty Corner, Bathgate, Weniger, and Wolf of Lakewood, Brown and Connery, Westmount, Charles P. Tiverton of Breck, Siddle, Saffer, and Zabarski of Toms River, Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs of Madawan, Durkin and Durkin, West Caldwell, Eric M. Bernstein and Associates of Warren, Florio Perucci, Steinhardt, Capelli, Tipton, and Taylor of New Providence, Gluck, Wall, Rath of Freehold, Inglacio, Webster, Wysiska, and Taylor of Parsippany, Kelleher, Van Dyke, and Moriarty of Toms River, Kevin B. Reardon, Esquire of Toms River, King, Kittrick, Jackson, Dyke, and Moriarty of Toms River, Kevin B. Reardon, Toms River, King, Kittrick, Jackson, McWeeny, and Wells of Manasquan, LaCourte, Bundy, Varadi, and Kinsella of Union, Leitner, Tort, DeFazio, and Brous of Edison, Marmero Law of Woodbury, Montenegro, Thompson, Montenegro, and Gens of Breck, Raynon, Coughlin, Mincello of Island, Rothstein, Mandel, Strom, Hammonds, Cipriani of Lakewood, Seacare and Hensel of Toms River, and the Winder Law Group of Red Bank. This resolution approves the pool of attorneys as Labor Council, including Abruzzi, McDermott, Mastro, and Murphy, Liberty Corner, Armando V. Riccio of Medford, Brown and Connery of Westmount, Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs of Madawan, Durkin and Durkin of West Caldwell, Florio, Perucci, Steinhardt, Capelli, Tipton, and Taylor of New Providence, LaCourte, Bundy, Varadi, and Kinsella of Union, Raynon, Coughlin, Mincello of Island, and Rothstein, Mandel, Stromholm, and Cipriani of Lakewood. This resolution also approves the pool for tax appeals to include Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs of Madawan, Durkin and Durkin of West Caldwell, Inglacio, Webster, Wysikala, Taylor of Parsippany, Raynon, Coughlin, Mincello of Island, Rothstein, Mandel, Strom, Hum, and Cipriani of Lakewood, and Starkey, Kelly, Keneally, Cunningham, and Turnback of Toms River. These are ongoing tax appeals which have a myriad of intricacies requiring diligence and consistency. The selected firms are fully up to speed in continuing these matters will be handled expeditiously. This resolution also approves a recommended award for tax foreclosure counsel to Goldstein, Mackler, Staya, Mintz, Pfeiffer, Bonchi, and Gill of Northfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1816.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for the engineering services pool.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes a pool of professional for engineering surveying services, including Act Engineers, Inc. of Robbinsville, Adams, Raymond, and Hagan Associates, Inc. of Hamilton, Brightview Engineering, LLC of Livingston, Center State Engineering of Monroe, CME Associates of Howell, Colliers Engineering and Design of Red Bank, Concord Engineering Group of Voorhees, French and Perillo Associates of Wall, H2M Associates of Wall, Keystone Engineering Group of Hamilton, LS Engineering Associates Corporation of Montville, Mid-Atlantic Engineering Partners of Hamilton, Morgan Engineering of Toms River, Pannoni Associates of Haddon Heights, Prestige Environmental, Inc. of Somerset, Suburban Consulting Engineers of Flanders, T&M Associates of Toms River, and Van Cleef Engineering Associates of Hillsborough. This resolution also approves the environmental engineer pool, including Act Engineers of Robbinsville, Adams, Raymond, and Hagan Associates of Hamilton, CME Associates of Howell, French and Perillo Associates of Wall, LS Engineering Associates Corporation of Montville, Mid-Atlantic Engineering Partners of Hamilton, Prestige Environmental of Somerset, and Suburban Consulting Engineers of Flanders. This resolution also authorizes the dredging engineer pool, including Act Engineers of Robbinsville, CME Associates of Howell, French and Perillo Associates of Wall, and Mid-Atlantic Engineering Partners of Hamilton. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1817.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for the architectural services pool.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you. This resolution approves a pool of professionals on the architectural services pool, including Architects Design Group, Winter Park, Florida, Barlow, Governale, and Associates, Brick, H2M Architects and Engineers, Wall Township, Netta Architects, Mountainside, Parallel Architectural Group, Long Branch, Robbie Conley Architect, Woodbury Heights, Rodier Ebersberger Architects, Williamstown, Settembrino Architects, LLC, Red Bank, the Design Collaborative Architects and Planners, Cape May Courthouse, Tokarski Milliman Architects, Wall, and Yezi Architects, Toms River.
Thank you. Resolution 1818.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for bond counsel.
Councilman Halloran.
This resolution authorizes a contract with Willents, Goldman, and Spitzer, Woodbridge, as bond counsel. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1819.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for the financial advisor.
Councilman Halloran.
This resolution authorizes a contract with NW Financial Group, Hoboken, as financial advisor.
Thank you. Resolution 1820.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for the property appraisal, property inspection services pool.
Councilman Halloran.
This resolution authorizes the execution of a contract with the following firms to provide property appraisal and inspection services to the township on an as-needed basis. Associated Appraisal Group, Cranford, Federal Appraisal, White House Station, Henry J. Mancini and Associates, Manahawkin.
Thank you. Resolution 1821.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for the property maintenance board attorney.
Councilman Halloran.
This resolution authorizes the execution of a contract with Charles D. Bauer Brick as attorney for the Property Maintenance Board.
Thank you. Resolution 1822.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for hearing officer.
Councilman Halloran, please.
This resolution authorizes the execution of a contract with the following attorneys to serve as hearing officer: Charles D. Bauer, Brick; Cleary, Jacobe, Alfieri, Jacobs, Matawan; Kevin B. Reardon, Toms River; and Rothstein, Mandel, Strom, and Cipriani, Toms River. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1823.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for animal control officer services.
Councilwoman Vice President Crate.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the execution of a contract with A Academy of South Jersey, Howell, for animal control officer services at a set hourly rate schedule with an annual not-to-exceed amount of $120,000.
Thank you. Resolution 1824.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for the planning services pool.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution approves a pool of professional for planning services, including Architects Design Group of Winter Park, Florida, Barlow Governale and Associates of Brick, H2M Architects and Engineers of Wall, Netta Architects of Mountainside, Parallel Architects Group of Long Branch, Robbie Conley Architect of Woodbury Heights, Rodir Ebbesberger Architects of Williamstown, Centimbrino Architects LLC of Red Bank, the Design Collaborative Architects and Planners of Cape May Courthouse, and Tukarski Milliman Architects of Wall, and Yezi Architects of Toms River. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1825.
Authorize receipt of proposals for code enforcement prosecutor.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome.
This resolution authorizes the receipt of proposals for code enforcement prosecutor.
Thank you. Resolution 1826.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for employee assistance program.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the execution of contract with Preferred Behavioral Health, Lakewood, to implement the Township's Employee Assistance Program.
Thank you. Resolution 1827.
Authorize mayor to enter into fair and open professional service contract for the insurance broker consultants.
Councilwoman Vice President Crate.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the execution of a contract with Accusure, also known as IMAC, for the insurance broker consultant for the employees and retirees' dental, vision, and temporary disability insurance. And Foundation Risk Partners, also known as Fairview Insurance Agency Associates, for insurance broker consultant for the employees and retirees' medical prescription, stop loss, and COBRA.
Thank you. Resolution 1828.
Authorize appointments to the Board of Adjustment.
This resolution authorizes appointment for the Board of Adjustment, including David Chadwick to a 4-year term, Brian Formica to a 4-year term, Darren Caffrey to a 4-year term, Glenn Fuchs to fill in unexpired term ending December 31st, 2022, Raymond Noonan filling in an unexpired term ending December 31st, 2022, Edward Bridges as an alternate 2 member to a 2-year term. Resolution 1829.
Authorize appointment of 1 commissioner to the Housing Authority.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the reappointment of Thomas Lincoln as a commissioner of the Brick Township Housing Authority for a term effective March 15th, 2022, and expiring March 14th, 2027.
Thank you. Resolution 1830.
Authorize appointment of 1 commissioner to the BTMUA.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the appointment of Paul Mumolo as a member of the Brick Township Municipal Utilities Authority for a term effective February 1st, 2022, and expiring on January 31st, 2027. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1831.
Authorize appointments to the Property Maintenance Board.
Council Vice President Crate.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the appointment of the following members of the Township's Property Maintenance Board: Edward Bucher, Stephen Brill, Ron Gaskill, James Hogan, and Sandra Thomas, along with alternates Joanne Bergen and Richard DeGenaro.
Thank you. Resolution 1832.
Authorize appointments to the Tourist Development Commission.
Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the appointment of Mort Nace from Windward Tavern and Chris Jovanovski from Jovo's Deli, members of the Tourist Development Commission, for a 2-year term. Additionally, Councilwoman DeYoung is appointed as the Township Council representative for a 1-year term. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1833.
Authorize appointments to the Ethics Information Committee.
This resolution authorizes the appointment to the Ethics Information Committee. Councilwoman Lisa Crate, now Vice President, Councilman Arthur Halloran, Councilwoman Mariana Pontarera, Eric Mena, Erin Wheeler, and Derek Ambrosino. Resolution 1834.
Authorize appointments to the Sustainable Brick Township Committee.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the appointments of the following members of the Sustainable Brick Township Committee: Mayor John G. Ducey or Designee Jamie Lee Cisco, Council President Designee Perry Albanese, Keith Rella, Municipal Planner Designee, Stefan Krakowski, Department of Public Works Representative, Victoria Pacala, Board of Education Representative, Stephen Speck, Brick Township Utilities Authority Representative, Sharon Ercoliani, Environmental Commission Representative, Brian Mursky, Chamber of Commerce Representative, John Hyfantis, Resident, Paul J. Kurtz, Resident, Paul DePalma, Resident, Travis Critchman, Resident, and John Henry, Resident. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1835.
Authorize appointments to the TNR Committee.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you. This resolution appoints the following members to the TNR Committee: Councilman Perry Albanese, Doreen Gesline, and Joanne Lambusta. All three have terms expiring on December 31st, 2022.
Thank you. Resolution 1836, please.
Authorize appointment of Class 3 Planning Board member.
Councilman Halloran.
This resolution authorizes the appointment of Councilman Vince Minichino as a Class 3 member of the Township Planning Board and the Architectural Review Committee for a 1-year term. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1837.
Recognize 2022 incoming officers.
1837A, Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. Bretton Woods Fire Company is President Daniel Lyon, Vice President James Rocco, Secretary John Rotundo Jr., Trustees Steve Gerling, William Curtis, Fred Pope Jr., and Christopher Frederick, Chief Brian Streiter, Assistant Chief Barry Wayner, Captain Thomas Thiem Jr., First Lieutenant William Andrukite, Second Lieutenant Edward Ramos, and Safety Officer Chris Fredericks.
Thank you. 18B, Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you. Herbertsville Fire Company, President Angelo Natoli, Vice President Mike DeCangia, Treasurer James Lepore, Assistant Treasurer Mike Pacella, Secretary Sean Philbin, Trustees Paul Matula, Jim Scott Sr., and Christopher Matsour, Captain James Lepore, Lieutenant Christopher Matsour, Second Lieutenants Mark Christensen and Mike DeCangia, and Safety Officers Angelo Natoli and Paul Matula. Thank you.
Thank you. 1837C, Council Vice President Crate.
Thank you. For the Laurelton Fire Company, we have President Leonard Figula, Vice President John Crosio, Recording Secretary Anthony Natali, Corresponding Secretary Michael Scott, Treasurer Joseph Pawlux Jr., Sergeant-at-Arms John Safer, Trustees Michael Siriakis, John Heffron Sr., and Jeffrey Richards, Robert Skillman, and Charlie Turner. Chief David Barnberg, Assistant Chief Paul Mazzio, Captains Walter James Hulsart, Frank Bashirs, and Joseph Zielinski.
Thank you. 1837D, Councilman Halloran.
Thank you. This is for the Pioneer Hose Fire Company. President Gary Avzier, Vice President Cole Hadley, Secretary Sean Crawford, Treasurer Gary Avzier, Trustees Peter Quinlan, Edward Slowinski, Mike Delaney, Mark Mowinkel, and Kevin Batesel. Chief Joe Licandro, Assistant Chief Vincent Piscatola, Captain William Magnuson, Lieutenant Tyler Gaskill, and Engineer John Coaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 1838, please.
Fixing of interest on taxes and assessments for 2022.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you. In accordance with NJSA 54:4-67, permits the fixing of interest to be charged on taxes and assessments at 8% per annum. And on the first $1,500 allows 18% on any amount in excess of $1,500 to be calculated from statutory due date until actual payment. An additional penalty of 6% will be collected against delinquency in excess of $10,000 on properties that remain unpaid at the end of the 22,000 calendar year.
Thank you. That concludes our consent agenda. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council? Seeing none. Open to public for questions on the resolutions only. Seeing none. Close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Abstain 30, yes to the rest.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go further, Mayor, did you have appointments?
Yes, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'd also like to recognize, in addition to former Councilman Paul Mumolo, who everybody saw, we have former Councilwoman Ruth Ann Scaturo, who's here. We have a member of the school board, Michael Blandina. And if I miss somebody, it's probably because of the masks. I apologize. Hopefully I see everybody that I can see. From our MUA, we have our Executive Director, Chris Theodos, as well as the Chair of the MUA, Tom Curtis. We have Councilman Terrence Turnback of Toms River, Chairman Earp. We have Jason Kreitman, President and Chief Hospital Executive at Ocean University Medical Center. So thank you all for being here, and hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but if I did, I apologize. Again, I can't see everybody. Architectural Review Committee is Michael Webb, Anthony Zarilli, Alyssa Cummins, and Tara Paxton. The appointments to the Environmental Commission are Richard Opikun, Jill Kowalski, Raymond Lechien, and Joseph Rampino. Historic Preservation Commission is Steve Nagowitz, Wendy Lubrecht, Emily Waller. Housing Authority appointment is Ron Jampel. Planning Board appointments, Brad Clayton, Matt Fagan, Bernie Cook, William Phillipson, Daniel Ward. Property Maintenance, Stephen Brill, Edward Bucher, Ron Gaskill, James W. Hogan, Sandra Thomas, Joanne Bergen, Richard DeGennaro, and Daniel Newman. Shade Tree Commission, Violet LaGroteria. Sustainable Brick Township, Jamie Lee Cisco, Perry Albanese, John Hyfantis, Stephen Krakowski, Victoria Picala, Stephen Specht, Keith Rella, Sharon Ercoliani, Brian Mursky, Paul Kurtz, Travis Kirchman, Paul DePalma, and John Henry. And the TNR Committee, Catherine Daly, John Talty, and Scott Smith. Thank you, and congratulations to the appointments. Look forward to working with you over the next year.
Thank you, sir. This brings us to a manual bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $13,198,263.92.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council? Closed council, open to the public for questions on the manual bill resolution only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call?
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
There's going to be a test after this.
Did I get Councilman Halloran?
Yes.
How's that order?
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. This brings us to our public comment section.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Hold on. Did we do the,
Did we skip something? I'm sorry.
Missed the manual bill.
No, we don't
No,
have
just
one.
did that one. There isn't one.
We only have the manual.
Yeah, there is no computer bill.
it's Art's
sorry.
fault. It's Art's fault.
That's okay.
We're all out of order.
Something's happening up here. I
Yeah,
don't know
thank
what
you.
it is. Something's going wrong. This whole place is falling apart.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so we were opening the meeting to
Yes,
public
we're
comment.
open. Mayor? Oh, public comments, sorry. Thank you. Anybody from public have any comment? Yes, Mr. Sluka. Yeah.
John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. I'm going to read my letter. So even though we have a new president, the letter was written a couple days ago. So, dear Mayor Ducey, Council President Andrea Crate, all councilmen and councilwomen, as well as all the residents and workers in Brick and all of Ocean County, dated December 29th. I know it seems like just like yesterday, I stood before the council and expressed my concern for the health and lives of our residents, but the need for action is here, and I will stand before you over and over again until I no longer can stand. It is approaching 10 years since the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners began harming the residents of the shore area and killing many residents as well. The toxins, the noise, the other airborne debris has been coming off the Garden State Parkway and forced into the bodies of seniors, children's, mothers-to-be, and in fact, each and every one of us, whether we see the poisons or not. The area surrounding Evergreen Woods, condos, Greenbrier, Town Hall, Brick High School, Lanes Mill School, Birchwood, and other areas of Brick Township are easily visible within the sight of all who surround or are passing by on the Garden State Parkway. In order to save the health and lives of our residents and workers, a 14 to 20-foot wall is needed, along with the replanting of trees and brush and grasses as well that border that Garden State Parkway. Workers and residents of Brick continue to develop COPD. The children have asthma. More and more children have asthma. Pregnant moms have autistic children, and seniors succumb to heart and lung illnesses and premature deaths. So something obviously needs to be done. Since we know the rate of autism has increased over the years, and in New Jersey, the rate for boys is 1 in 25. We need to act now. Some other states with lower traffic congestion areas still have a high rate of autism, but in Colorado, Wisconsin, and other traffic congested states, the rate for autism is 3 to 4 times less prevalent. The environment has to be part of this, has to be. Help is needed. We should at least force the New Jersey Turnpike Commission to see the evil of their ways and the problems they have bestowed on our residents. Once again, walls of 14 to 20 feet high and vast and high thick replanting of brush and trees are needed on the Garden State Parkway, adjacent to Evergreen Woods, Brick High School, Primrose Gardens, Sutton Village, Lanes Mill School, Greenbrier, Town Hall, Birchwood Park, and actually many other places in Brick and in Ocean County, in order to at least correct some of the damage caused by the illegal actions of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. Every day, more toxins flow into the lungs of residents and workers. Let us make a more concerted effort to save our seniors and our young children and our children yet to be born. Something needs to get done. Let's do what is needed. If I didn't say it, John Stoker, 950 Sylvia Court. And I yield back a minute 40. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from public? Seeing none, close public. Now we're on to council comments. Mayor?
I spoke a couple times already. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Legal?
Happy New Year for me too. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
Yes, Happy New Year, thank you, and congratulations to everyone on their swearing-ins today.
Thank you. Madam Secretary?
Happy New Year and congratulations, Vice President and Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Albanese?
I wrote a little something. It's heartening to see so many familiar faces here. Thank you all. I would like to start off by acknowledging how grateful I am for not only being elected to this position, but also for having the opportunity to serve the citizens of Brick Township. It is my goal to serve in this bipartisan council to ensure the needs of all our constituents are met. I take the responsibility of being a public servant with high regard. I want to ensure that the residents understand that through my duties, I'll be transparent, honest, and most importantly, open and available to the citizens of our great township. No matter how small or large an issue topic may be, I will always do my due diligence when approaching a decision that will impact the people of Brick Township. I believe I was elected to extend the voice of my constituents, and I plan to work cohesively with this council to keep our community flourishing. Now, I've met with Mayor Ducey and most of the staff, who were extremely supportive and hospitable. The mayor and staff went out of their way to make me feel comfortable as we transition into this new council. Thank you again for that, Mayor. Lastly, I want to reiterate how excited and proud I am to be serving our community. I look forward to working with all my colleagues as we represent you, the people of our community. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung?
Yes, thank you. I just want to thank the voters out there for the privilege of letting me serve another term. It's been a tremendous experience these past 8 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 4. Been on business and finance for a while, and be able to work with the mayor and Mo, our CFO. She's just a genius in being able to keep our taxes stable while still expanding and keeping our service level where it's at. Our business administrator, she's been incredibly knowledgeable. She knows everything about this town, and we wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for Joanne, so thank you, Joanne. Recreation, I think we've done almost every park, and we are slated the next 4 years to finish up all the rest of the parks, so hopefully everybody can go out and enjoy them, get some fresh air. This upcoming year, I'm going to be looking forward to being on our land use committee, which I'm really looking forward to learning more about land use and how our township is split and the different zones and all of that stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And as the mayor said, when I was getting sworn in, the seniors, I love working with the seniors. I love just being able to go to senior bingo and the different holiday parties. I was sad that they had to cancel the game show because of COVID. That was just a couple weeks ago, so I do enjoy that. Thank you to all of the staff. You guys make us look good. You really do. You guys are amazing of what we ask you to do with so little, and you come through every single time, so thank you guys. Thanks to the mayor, for choosing me to be part of his team, the Ducey team. I never wanted to be a council person. I always just wanted to be kind of off into the background, behind the scenes, but he was like, yeah, come on, join. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess so. And it's been some of the greatest experiences that I've had, and it is to his credit that he's done such a good job in running the town. And, you know, everything he does just is, he comes up with these ideas, and we're like, oh, okay. And they're amazing. They work. What he has implemented in the township works, and it makes our town, makes Brick so much better. So thank you to him. Also to my parents, who've always instilled in me that I could always do everything. So thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you for staying up here, even though New Jersey's crazy and you probably want to be back in South Carolina, where it's a lot less crazy right now. And I have to Oh, I have to thank the mayor again. Because of him, I would never have met my fiance, Mike, and gained two fantastic kids who have opened my eyes. They've shown me different things in this town that can be improved on and different ways of thinking about different things. And I would never have gotten that if I hadn't met Mike and had the kids, but had them in my life. So I'd like to thank them. I love you, babe. And I just want to wish all the residents a very happy new year and look forward to working for you for the next 4 years and definitely through 2022. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you. I wanted to first congratulate Heather DeYoung, also Mr. Minikino, President Minikino. I'm going to have to get used to that. Mr. Albanese, and Lisa Crate for serving the public the way that they have. What is most important for you folks sitting out there is most of you have a loved one or a family member or someone that you're close with who is sitting here tonight. And what I will ask you to do is something that my family has been really good at, which is allowing me to have the time to serve Brick and allowing other people in your family to be part of it. In other words, when we have an event here in Brick, it's not me that just goes, it's the whole familia. And I think that way about the Township of Brick. It's like one big extended familia. And a lot of what we focused on as council was making Brick better. But what does that mean? That means going out of your way to make someone's life a little bit better. Whether that's the creation of a new senior center, which I'm overjoyed for, or recognizing fallen heroes who lived in Brick, like we have at the beginning of Windward Beach, by having events like Summerfest, like trunk or treating. It's getting everyone involved. And so for that spirit of community in 2022, I want to encourage everyone to be a part of the process, to reach out, to attend the events, to come to one of our senior parties or one of our youth-based challenger parties. That's how you can help make Brick better. Last, I really want to thank my wife, Crystal, my children, Antonio, Bella, and Lola, and just so everyone knows, a little 8-year-old who walked away from me was ready to sit back down. That little 8-year-old was a tiny infant when I was originally sworn in 8 years ago. She was just a tiny baby, and so even though I was taking my oath, in my head was mommy mode of, oh my God, my baby. Thank you to my family for allowing me the time to do the things that I do for Brick and sacrificing not having mommy all the time with you. And thank you for all being so mature and so respectful of these proceedings. Happy New Year to everyone. I look forward to working with Mr. Albanese and getting to know him, and I'm very hopeful that he will lend a new perspective on things when necessary, and that he is willing to work with us. So thank you to Mr. Albanese, and congratulations to him as well. Last, congratulations to our mayor. I'm thrilled you're going to be here for another 4 years. If you weren't running, I would not have run. You inspire me to be the best that I can be. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. Just briefly, I want to congratulate Mayor Ducey for another successful election, and clearly the residents of Brick Township recognize the tremendous work that he has done over the last 8 years. Certainly getting 65% of the vote is a recognition of their understanding of his work. Congratulations to Councilwoman Ponterera, Councilwoman DeYoung, and Councilman Albanese. Welcome. I look forward to working with you, and we try to make it fun. So hopefully you'll enjoy it, but get some hard work in there too. Certainly, congratulations to our new president, Vincent Minichino. He was on council and was elected onto the council the same year that I was reelected. And for the last 2 years, I've gotten to know Vince, and he adds such a tremendous balance to the discussion, giving us other types of perspective and kind of talking to us about different sides of the issues. And we really appreciate that sanity. I want to congratulate also Vice President Crate, who was formerly President Crate. It was an honor to be your Vice President for 2 years. I appreciate it. One thing that was not mentioned was the fact that in some of the comments about Vice President Crate was they left out the fact that she is the creator of the Trunk or Treat. If you go to Trunk or Treat and you see the beautiful displays and themes, she is the creator, not only the idea creator, but she is physically the creator of every one of those signs and displays that we offer at the Mayor's Trunk or Treat. So, congratulations. Congratulations to, I don't know if he's still here, but former councilman, former president of the council, Paul Momolo. You will be sorely missed. It's been great working with you. Happy New Year to everybody. Please be safe. We still have a lot to be careful with, so please be safe. That's why I wear the double mask. So that's it.
Thank you. Vice President Crate.
Thank you. I will be brief. I just wanted to congratulate all of our re-elected council members, our mayor, our newly elected council member, Councilman Albanese, and I wanted to thank everybody for their kind words and just say just a little bit. So I was brought in as president in 2020. Wait, was it 2020? Yes. And that was going to be the year of unity. You know, we were definitely united, although separate. And what a long, strange trip it has been since then as president. I do appreciate everything that everyone said. But what I wanted to say today is this is the year of community, which really excites me because one of the reasons I got onto council was because I care so much about this community and bringing our community together. And I know through the different conversations I've had with people and the job that I have outside of council, I understand and I have a good feeling for how people feel in the community about lots of different things. And I know sometimes there's a focus on what's happening at the federal level, and there's a definite divide with how people feel about different things that are happening and opinions that people have. And that's okay. We're all allowed to feel that way. But one of the things that I'm really grateful for is the fact that having served on council, we here that sit up on this dais have the opportunity to focus on the things that really matter to the people in Brick. So we might argue about whether or not children should be masked or if people should be vaccinated, and like I said, that's everyone's right to do that, and people can do whatever they want to do, that's your right. But when it comes right down to it, the things that really people care about in the long run is are my kids going to a good school district? Do I have clean drinking water? Is my garbage going to get picked up on time? If it snows, are my roads going to be plowed? If I have a problem, will the firemen come? Will the police be available to come out and help me? Those are all the things that we really care about. And I feel grateful that I'm on a council where we have worked diligently to make sure that the answer to all those questions is yes. We do have a good school district. Not that we are fully involved in that, obviously, but we do have a good school district for our students. My children go to Brick schools. We do have a phenomenal police department. Our volunteer firefighters in EMS are phenomenal. We have a DPW department that is beyond compare, that really rises to every single occasion, and we're very proud of. And all the other people that work in this town hall, who work for the residents of Brick, they genuinely, on most days, really like to work here. We've got a great working community here in Town Hall that goes out and helps the residents of Brick as well. So I welcome our new council member, and I hope and look forward to continuing to be able to answer yes to all of those questions that I just brought up. And I hope that through our community, we can finally put together at some point in the spring our longest table event that I'm very excited about, and we'll talk about, hopefully, actually making it happen. And I wish everyone a happy new year and hopefully health and safety for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll definitely be brief. We've been here for a while. I'm not going to repeat everything, but everything everybody said is true, and yes. So if this meeting is any indication of how the year is going to be, it's going to be a good year. Happy New Year to everybody. I want to thank my family for their support. Not always easy. They know how I am. They know where I come from. The best part of this meeting and the best part of sitting in this seat is being, and I'm, again, my family, I'm a middle son. I have a younger brother and an older brother. I never get the last word. Sitting in this chair, I get the last word. Remember that. So there's an after party at River Rock. Everybody's welcome to come, starting now. Next council meeting is Tuesday, January 11th at 7 p.m. here, obviously. And that's it. I want to keep it brief. But thank you all for coming. Thank you for all your support, and we appreciate it. Oh, I got to bang this? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Motion. We did it.
I guess that was.
Yeah. Can I get a motion to close?
Motion.
Can I get to bang it again, see?